My name is Emma, and I'm a single mother. Life hasn't been easy, but I have one reason to smile every day. My baby girl Grace. She's only 1 year old with soft brown hair, big round eyes, and a laugh that melts my heart. Grace is my whole world. I live in a small apartment. I work from home as a freelance writer so I can stay with Grace most of the time. But sometimes I need help, especially when I have meetings or deadlines. That's when my mom, Margaret, comes over. She's my mother and I love her. But recently, something happened that changed everything between us. It all started 3 weeks ago. That day I had a very important Zoom meeting. Grace was teething and she had been crying all night. I hadn't slept and I looked like a mess. I called my mom at 6:30 in the morning. "Mom, please, can you come over? I need to focus for just 2 hours." She said yes without a second thought. She arrived within half an hour. She brought some soup, smiled, and kissed Grace's little cheeks. "I'll take care of her," she said. "Don't worry, just get your work done." I was so grateful. I went into my room and closed the door. The meeting was longer than expected. By the time I came out, almost 3 hours had passed. I expected to see Mom playing with Grace in the living room. But Grace wasn't there. The living room was empty. I checked the kitchen. No one. My heart dropped. I ran outside to the hallway. Still nothing. I grabbed my phone and called my mom. "Where are you?" I asked, trying not to panic. "Oh, we just went for a little walk," she said calmly. "Grace needed some air." "But you didn't tell me. I was in a meeting. You can't just leave with my daughter without saying anything." She laughed. "Emma, calm down. She's my granddaughter. What's the big deal?" I didn't want to argue. I waited. 20 minutes later, she came back with Grace asleep in her arms. That night I couldn't sleep. My chest felt tight. Was I overreacting? Or was I right to feel something was wrong? The next day I told her gently, "Please always tell me before you take Grace anywhere. I worry." She didn't like that. "You don't trust me?" she asked. "It's not about trust. It's about being a mother. I need to know where my baby is." Her face changed. She didn't speak much after that. Few days passed. I had to finish a large project and again asked Mom to come over. She agreed but seemed quiet. This time I didn't close the door fully. I wanted to listen just in case. First, everything seemed fine. I could hear her singing lullabies to Grace. I smiled to myself. But then I heard something strange. She was on the phone whispering. "Yes, she's a mess. Always tired. Always anxious. Honestly, I think she's not okay." My heart stopped. "She doesn't know how to be a mother," my mom continued. "Grace is better off with me." I stood up, frozen. What was she saying? "She's alone," Mom said. "No husband, no help. I raised 3 kids. I know what I'm doing." I didn't want to believe my ears. "Open the door." She looked shocked. "Were you talking about me?" I asked, my voice shaking. She tried to smile. "No, sweetie. Just chatting with a friend." But I saw it in her eyes. She had been serious. I didn't want to fight, so I let it go. But something had changed. I couldn't trust her the same way anymore. The next few days were tense. I didn't call her. I managed on my own even though it was hard. Then came the worst part. Last Friday I had to step out for 30 minutes to pick up some medicine. Grace had a mild fever, and I didn't want to take her outside. I called Mom, and she said she'd be there in 10 minutes. I left as soon as she arrived. The pharmacy was nearby. But when I returned, they were gone again. This time I didn't wait. I called her over and over again. No answer. My heart was racing. I was sweating, dizzy with fear. 25 minutes later, she texted. "Relax. We went to visit a friend. Grace is happy." Friend. Without my permission. With a sick baby. I lost it. I replied. "Come back right now. This is not okay. You crossed the line." She came back 2 hours later. Grace was tired, her nose running, eyes red. I held her close and didn't say a word to my mom. But I was boiling inside. "Emma," she finally said, "you're overreacting again." No, Mom, I said firmly. You don't get to decide what's best for Grace without asking me. I'm her mother. She looked at me like I'd stabbed her. I raised you, she said. How dare you talk to me like that? I'm not trying to hurt you. But you don't respect my role as Grace's mom. You talk behind my back. You take her places without telling me. That's not love. That's control. She walked out without saying goodbye. Since that day, we haven't spoken. Hurts. She's my mom. But I need to protect my baby, even from the people I love. I lie awake every night asking myself, did I do the right thing? Or did I just push away the only person who was trying to help me? All I know is, I am angry at Mom, because I trusted her, and she broke that trust. A week passed. My mom Margaret didn't call, and I didn't call her either. The silence between us was heavy. I missed her, and yet, I was still angry. Not just angry, hurt. She crossed a line. She took my baby girl, Grace, without permission. She talked about me like I was some poor, broken girl who didn't know how to raise her own daughter. And it broke my heart. On the 8th day, I heard a knock on the door. I looked through the peephole. It was her. For a moment I froze. I didn't know what to feel. Opened the door. She stood there, holding a small bag of groceries. Her eyes were tired. Her face looked softer than I'd ever seen it. I brought soup, she said quietly. The one you used to love when you were sick. I didn't say anything. I stepped aside and let her in. Grace was sleeping in the crib. My mom looked at her and smiled sadly. She's growing so fast, she whispered. We sat at the kitchen table in silence. Finally I spoke. Why did you take her to your friend's house without telling me? She looked down. I thought it would be good for her to be around more people. You're always alone with her. That's not your decision to make, I said. I know, she replied. And I'm sorry. Truly. Waited. She continued. I miss being needed, Emma. Ever since your father died. I've felt like I don't have a place. When Grace came into our lives, I saw her as my second chance. I didn't mean to take over. I just wanted to feel useful again. Tears welled up in her eyes. I guess I went too far. Her words pierced my heart. 'Cause I understood. She wasn't just being controlling. She was lonely. She missed the days when she was the center of someone's world. Now she was just grandma, and not even one I fully trusted anymore. I get it, Mom, I said softly. But when you talk behind my back, when you make choices for Grace without me, you make me feel like I'm not enough. Like I'm failing. You're not, she said firmly. You're doing so much, Emma. And I'm proud of you. That made me cry. I didn't expect to hear that. We sat there holding hands for a while. Then she said, let's make some rules. He nodded. She pulled out a little notebook from her purse. I'll never take Grace out without asking first. I won't bring visitors near her unless you agree. And I won't say a word to anyone about your parenting. That's your private life. It wasn't everything I needed, but it was a start. Okay, I said. And I promise not to shut you out when I'm stressed. I'll talk to you. I'll ask for help when I need it. We both laughed through our tears. Felt like healing. But it wasn't over yet. A few days later, my mom called me in a panic. I'm so sorry, Emma. I made a mistake. What happened? I asked, heart pounding. I left my phone unlocked and Grace was playing with it. She sent a photo of herself to my friend, Lily. The one I visited last time. I had told her we wouldn't talk anymore about you. But now she's asking questions. I was silent. Emma, she whispered. I think I've damaged your trust again. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just said, Mom, you promised. I know, she said, choking back tears. Please, give me one more chance. That night I thought about what trust really means. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest. And consistent. And respectful of boundaries. Especially between mothers and daughters. Grace needed love, safety, and calm. And I needed to protect her, no matter how hard that choice might be. So I made a decision. The next morning I called my mom. "Mom," I said, "I forgive you." She gasped. "Thank you. But," I added, "I need some space." Few weeks. No visits, no calls. Just time for me and Grace. There was silence. Then a quiet, "I understand. I'm not doing this to punish you," I said. "I'm doing this to protect my peace. I'm not angry anymore. But I need to rebuild the safety I lost." "I'll wait," she said. "And I'll be better. I promise." The following weeks were hard. Missed her. There were moments I wanted to call her, especially when Grace took her first step. But I didn't. Instead, I took long walks with Grace. We played, we laughed. I wrote in a journal. I reminded myself I was strong, even without my mother's voice in the background. One evening, I sat with Grace in my arms, watching the sunset. She looked up at me with those big eyes. And I whispered, "You're safe, baby girl. Mama's got you." It was in that moment I realized something. Being angry at my mom was never about hate. It was about pain. And needing to feel seen, respected, trusted. 2 months later I saw my mom again. She stood at the door, hands empty this time. No groceries, no toys, just a nervous smile. "I'm here if you still want me," she said. "Open the door. Only if you're ready to be grandma, not the mom." She nodded. "I am." And just like that we began again. Slowly. But this time with boundaries. With honesty. And with love that didn't try to control. Just support. Because love is not about taking over. It's about standing beside. Even when it's hard. Even when you feel left out. Even when you make mistakes. I'm still healing. She is too. But for Grace, we're both learning how to be better, together.